Scotland is the land where legends come to life. Ancient villages predate the pyramids, and local language paints every snowstorm with poetic flair. In this documentary, I'll reveal 15 incredible facts, from banned sports to flaming Viking ships, that prove Scotland's magic isn't just a myth, plus a bonus section on what it really takes to settle down here. Get ready for science, mystery, and more than a few laughs as we tour everything, from thousands of year-old yew trees to penguins with military ranks. Every fact in this video is stranger, richer, and more surprising than the last. Stick around. Scotland is about to surprise you at every turn. Although I don't have unlimited video footage of Scotland, many scenes in this documentary may be replaced with photos or related visuals to fill the gaps, although my pronunciation may not always be perfect. I hope this won't affect your enjoyment, and I warmly welcome any additions or corrections if you spot mistakes, whether in the imagery or the script itself. I reply to every comment. Fact 1. The unicorn, Scotland's national animal. It may sound like a medieval prank or a marketing ploy from a fantasy novel, but in Scotland, the national animal is none other than the unicorn. This isn't a new internet trend or a modern attempt to be quirky. The unicorn has been a key part of Scottish royal symbolism since the late Middle Ages. Why? The unicorn was seen as a symbol of purity, strength, and wild, untamable freedom virtues the old Scottish kingdoms desperately wanted to project, especially when facing off against their southern neighbors. The unicorn appears on Scotland's royal coat of arms, often depicted chained, a nod to the belief that only a true king could tame such a beast. This choice reflects Scotland's deep connection with myths and legends, and perhaps a touch of national defiance. After all, while the rest of the world chose lions and eagles, the Scots chose something impossible to catch. Even today, you'll spot unicorn statues on historic buildings and government documents. It's the sort of bold, whimsical choice that could only come from a country where folklore isn't just history. It's part of daily life. Fact 2. The world's shortest flight. Orkney's sky-high shortcut. Imagine boarding a plane, buckling your seatbelt, and before you can finish the safety instructions, you're already landing. That's exactly what happens in Scotland's Orkney Islands, where the scheduled flight from Westray to Papa Westray holds the world record for the shortest commercial route. The journey covers a mere mile and a half, less than the length of most airport runways in New York or London. The whole flight takes around 90 seconds in good weather, and sometimes as little as 50 seconds if the wind is right. Pilots say it's barely enough time to check their instruments, let alone sip a cup of tea. Locals use it for everyday travel, school runs, and medical appointments, while adventurous tourists ride just for the bragging rights and a selfie in the world's tiniest terminal. The route is run by a rugged little Britten-Norman Islander plane that can carry only 8 people at a time. It's a reminder that in a land defined by islands, lochs, and wild seas, Scotland has always found clever ways to stay connected, even if the journey is over before you know it. Fact 3. Loch Ness, more water than all of England and Wales. When people hear Loch Ness, most jump straight to stories of the legendary monster lurking beneath the waves. But the real jaw-dropper is just how much water this massive Highland loch actually holds. Stretching an impressive 23 miles long and dropping down to more than 750 feet at its deepest, Loch Ness contains more fresh water than all the lakes in England and Wales put together. Its inky, peat-stained waters fill a natural trench left by glaciers, making it the largest lake by volume in the entire British Isles. Even on a rare, sunny day, the loch appears almost bottomless and mysterious. Perfect cover for any monster hoping to avoid the paparazzi. Thanks to its tremendous depth and the way the local rivers feed into it, Loch Ness seems to swallow the landscape around it. Fishermen, boaters, and scientists have spent years exploring its cold depths, often finding the loch more secretive than social. If you're ever in the Highlands, standing on the misty shore, you'll understand why Loch Ness still captures the world's imagination. Not just because of Nessie, but because it's a giant, enigmatic world all its own. Fact 4. Christmas was banned in Scotland for centuries. It's hard to believe, but for more than 300 years, celebrating Christmas in Scotland was not just discouraged, it was actually against the law. In 1640, following the Scottish Reformation, the devoutly Protestant Kirk convinced Parliament to ban Christmas festivities entirely, condemning them as popish and sinful distractions. Baking a mince pie or attending a Christmas service could get you fined or even worse. This ban lasted until the late 1950s, making Christmas Day just another ordinary workday for generations of Scots. Instead, Scotland developed its own distinctive winter traditions centered around Hogmanay, the boisterous New Year's celebration that features torchlight parades, first footing, and wild street parties. To this day, Hogmanay is often bigger than Christmas north of the border. The Christmas ban left deep marks on Scottish culture. Old-timers still recall when exchanging gifts or putting up decorations was a quiet, private affair. Now Christmas in Scotland is every bit as joyful as anywhere else, but the echoes of that unusual past still give Scottish winter a unique flavor. Only in Scotland could a religious crackdown end up making New Year's the ultimate national holiday. Fact 5 up, Helly, Scotland's flaming Viking festival. Each January, as winter's darkness grips the far north of Scotland, the islands of Shetland come alive with fire and fury during the legendary Helly festival. This isn't your standard town parade. Hundreds of geysers dress as Vikings, complete with armor and axes, and march through Lerwick's streets by torchlight. The climax? They set a hand-built wooden longship ablaze, sending sparks flying into the night sky while the crowd belts out ancient Norse songs. Helly was created in the late 19th century as a rowdy way to blow off steam at the end of Yule, but its roots go back much further, reflecting Shetland's 6th-century-long history as part of the Old Norse world. In fact, the islands only officially became Scottish in the 15th century, when the King of Norway pawned them to pay a royal dowry. Today, Helly is a celebration of both Scottish and Scandinavian heritage, drawing thousands of visitors from around the globe. For one night, the ordinary rules of Lerwick vanish in a blaze of Viking pride, showing that Scotland's northernmost people haven't forgotten their fiery roots. Fact 6, over 400 words for snow, Scotland's linguistic wonderland. You might think only Arctic cultures have a blizzard of words for snow, but Scotland takes it to an art form. Linguists at the University of Glasgow catalogued more than 400 unique Scottish words for snow, each capturing a subtle difference that only a true Scot could appreciate. There's snaw for snow itself, feefle for swirling snow, flindrican for a light, fluttering shower, and skelf for a single, dramatic snowflake. Even blindrift describes wind-blown snow that can blind you in seconds. Why so many? Scotland's rugged hills and unpredictable weather means snow comes in all shapes, intensities, and attitudes, and over centuries, Scots invented vocabulary to match every snowy mood. These words come from Scots and Scottish Gaelic, reflecting both the nation's linguistic history and its relationship with the elements. On a snowy day, you might find yourself using half a dozen different words just walking to the shop. It's not just about language. It's a glimpse into how Scottish people see, endure, and even celebrate the weather that has shaped their land and culture for generations. Fact 7, Scotland leads the world in free period products. In 2022, Scotland made history by becoming the first country on the planet to offer free period products to everyone by law, a move that put compassion and practicality before politics. After years of campaigning against period poverty, the Scottish Parliament passed the Period Products Act, ensuring that sanitary pads and tampons are available for free in schools, libraries, community centers, and countless other public buildings. The aim is simple but powerful. No one should miss work, school, or everyday activities because they can't afford essential hygiene products. This policy didn't just grab headlines, it's changed thousands of lives, leveling the playing field and helping to break an old taboo around menstruation. It also inspired activists and lawmakers worldwide, putting Scotland at the forefront of a modern movement for equality. The rollout has involved everyone from local councils to sports clubs, with some football stadiums even stocking products in their restrooms. In classic Scottish style, the law is straightforward, no-nonsense, and deeply humane, a shining example of a small country making a massive difference. Fact 8, Irn-Bru, the bright orange national icon. Forget Coca-Cola. Scotland has its own fizzy icon that outsells the American giant on home turf. Meet Irn-Bru, a neon orange soda with a flavor so unique it's practically impossible to describe. Created in 1901 by a Glasgow company, Irn-Bru quickly became a national obsession. Some say it tastes like bubble gum with a hint of rusty metal. Others say it's simply Scotland in a bottle. The recipe is top secret, rumored to include dozens of ingredients. But what really makes Irn-Bru legendary is its attitude. Its cheeky advertising campaigns declare it's made in Scotland from girders, poking fun at the country's industrial roots. It's so popular that Scots drink more Irn-Bru per capita than almost any other soft drink anywhere. And when New Year's hangovers strike, many claim only Irn-Bru can revive you. A myth that's as persistent as the Loch Ness monster. For generations, Irn-Bru has fueled builders, school kids, and even poets. In Scotland, you're not truly local until you can handle a bottle of the other national drink. And maybe, just maybe, crave a second. Fact 9. Haggis, Scotland's most famous dish, banned in America. When people think of Scottish cuisine, haggis always steals the show. A hearty, peppery blend of sheep's organs, oatmeal, and spices, all cooked inside a sheep's stomach. While it's a proud staple at Burns night suppers and Highland gatherings, most Americans have never tasted the real deal. Why? Since 1971, U.S. authorities have banned the import of authentic Scottish haggis because it contains sheep lung, a key ingredient outlawed by American food safety laws. As a result, Scottish Americans must settle for lung-free imitations or creative substitutes. Though for many purists, that's like trying to play the bagpipes with missing notes. The ban turned haggis into a culinary outlaw, making the dish even more legendary among the diaspora. Some brave travelers have even been known to smuggle haggis back in their luggage, risking a stern lecture at customs just for a taste of home. Despite the ban, haggis remains a symbol of Scottish culture, celebrated in poetry, toasts, and song, and proof that no law can dampen the country's appetite for tradition or offal. Fact 10. The Fortingall. Europe's oldest living thing. Deep in the tranquil churchyard of Fortingall, a tiny village in Highland Perthshire, stands a yew tree that defies the imagination, and even time itself. The Fortingall yew is estimated to be between 4,000 and 5,000 years old, making it one of the oldest living organisms in all of Europe. When this ancient tree first took root, the Egyptian pyramids were still centuries away from completion, and Stonehenge was barely a construction site. Through countless Scottish winters, Viking raids, and royal upheavals, the yew has quietly persisted. Its gnarled, hollow trunk is so wide that Victorian visitors once hosted picnics inside. Local legend, ever ambitious, claims the Roman governor Pontius Pilate was born under its branches, though that's more fairy tale than fact. Even so, standing in the Fortingall churchyard, you can feel the weight of millennia pressing in around you. For generations, the yew has witnessed every chapter of Scottish history. In a country known for its ancient monuments and deep roots, nothing compares to the living testament found in the Fortingall yew, silent, steadfast, and stubbornly alive. Fact 11. Golf, Scotland's banned pastime turned global passion. It's nearly impossible to picture Scotland without its iconic golf courses and rolling fairways. But there was a time when the game was banned by royal decree. In 1457, King James II was so concerned that young men were neglecting their archery practice, instead wasting time on golf and football, that he pushed Parliament to outlaw both sports. The ban was strictly enforced for decades, with warnings that fun on the links was a threat to national defense. Of course, this only made the game more irresistible, and even future kings eventually embraced the sport. By the early 1600s, Scottish royalty had fallen in love with golf, and St. Andrews was already gaining fame as the home of the game. Today, Scotland is the undisputed birthplace of modern golf, boasting some of the oldest and most legendary courses in the world. What started as a forbidden pastime has become a multi-billion-dollar global industry. The story is classic Scotland. Take something outlawed, add a pinch of stubbornness, and watch it become a national treasure. Fact 12. Skara Brae, Scotland's Stone Age village older than the pyramids. On the windswept Orkney Islands, long before Rome or Egypt's Great Pyramids, a community was already thriving at Skara Brae. This stone-built village dates back nearly 5,000 years, making it older than both Stonehenge and the pyramids of Giza. Discovered in 1850 after a fierce storm stripped away layers of sand, Skara Brae was revealed almost perfectly preserved. The site consists of 8 interconnected houses, each with stone beds, hearths, and even built-in dressers, showing that Neolithic Scots valued comfort and organization just as much as modern folks. Archaeologists believe up to 50 people lived here, herding cattle, growing barley, and trading with distant neighbors. The ingenious homes were sunk into the earth to provide insulation against Orkney's relentless winds, while covered passageways kept families connected. Walking through Skara Brae today feels like stepping into a prehistoric time capsule. Its survival over millennia offers a humbling glimpse into Scotland's deep human history, a story of adaptation, ingenuity, and community life at the edge of the Atlantic world. Fact 13. Ebenezer Place, the world's shortest street. Some places in Scotland make you question reality, and the town of Wick takes this to a delightful extreme. There, tucked beside a hotel, lies Ebenezer Place, the Guinness World Record holder for the shortest street anywhere on Earth. Measuring just 6 feet and 9 inches, it's barely longer than a single stride. The street came into being in 1883 when the local council told Alexander Sinclair, owner of Mackay's Hotel, that the tiny side of his building needed an official name because it had its own door. The result. Ebenezer Place, population 1 doorway belonging to number 1 bistro. Tourists come from all over to stand on the street, stretch their arms, and touch both ends at once for a one-of-a-kind selfie. There's no traffic, no street lights, and no danger of getting lost. It's an example of Scottish humor in urban planning, and proof that in Scotland, even the smallest oddity can become a legendary destination. If you're ever in Wick, don't blink, or you'll miss it entirely. Fact 14. Sir Nils Olav, the knighted penguin of Edinburgh. Some nations honor their heroes with medals, but Scotland has gone one better by knighting a penguin. Meet Sir Nils Olav, a king penguin who resides at Edinburgh Zoo and holds the title of Honorary Major General in the Norwegian King's Guard. This unlikely tradition began in 1972, when the Norwegian Guard, visiting for the Edinburgh military tattoo, adopted a resident penguin as their official mascot. Since then, every new Nils Olav, there have been several successors, has received regular promotions, with the current Nils Olav III even being knighted by Norway's King Harald V in 2008. The ceremony includes full military honors, with sharply dressed Norwegian soldiers saluting as the penguin inspects the troops, waddling past with a calm dignity that would make any general proud. Sir Nils Olav's story is more than a quirky anecdote. It's a symbol of friendship between Scotland and Norway, and a perfect example of Scottish whimsy. Only in Scotland could a penguin end up with a military rank and a knighthood. Fact 15. Dolly the sheep, Scotland's cloning breakthrough. In 1996, the quiet green fields outside Edinburgh witnessed one of the most extraordinary moments in modern science. A sheep named Dolly became the first mammal ever cloned from an adult cell. Scientists at the Roslin Institute accomplished this groundbreaking feat using a single cell taken from a 6-year-old ewe's udder, proving it was possible to create an exact genetic copy of a mature animal. When the world learned about Dolly in 1997, headlines exploded, sparking debates about ethics, technology, and the very future of life on Earth. Far from being a science fiction experiment gone wrong, Dolly was healthy, lived a natural sheep's life, and even had lambs of her own. Today, she is preserved at the National Museum of Scotland, still drawing curious crowds. Dolly's creation changed biology forever, opening doors to everything from stem cell research to new treatments for genetic diseases. In the most Scottish way possible, a simple sheep in a quiet barn ended up shaking the entire world, showing that Scotland's spirit of innovation is as mighty as its legends. Cost of living and everyday realities in Scotland. What to expect. For those considering a move to Scotland, life here can feel both refreshingly traditional and surprisingly modern, depending on where you settle. In cities like Edinburgh and Glasgow, expect living costs to echo those of other major British cities, but with a uniquely Scottish twist. Renting a modest 1-bedroom flat in central Edinburgh can set you back around $1,500 to $2,000 per month, while smaller towns and the scenic Highlands offer more affordable options, sometimes under $1,000 monthly. Utilities for a typical apartment run between $150 and $250 monthly, depending on the season. Groceries are reasonably priced, with local markets offering fresh produce, hearty bread, and Scottish staples like cheese and smoked fish at wallet-friendly rates. Dining out, especially in cosmopolitan areas, ranges from $10 for a quick meal to over $50 for fine dining. When it comes to finding work, Scotland's economy is broad and resilient. Key industries include oil and gas, finance, renewable energy, life sciences, and tourism. Skilled workers in IT, healthcare, and engineering are especially in demand. The job market in cities is competitive but fair. Expect open applications, clear contracts, and strong worker protections. Those dreaming of a permanent move will be looking at the UK visa system, which awards points based on skills, education, and job offers. There are also options for students, entrepreneurs, and family reunification. Healthcare is a standout feature. Scotland boasts a world-class public health system under the NHS, meaning most services are free at the point of use, including doctor visits and hospital care. Prescription charges are lower than in England, and in many cases, are completely free. Private healthcare is also available, but few locals see the need. For expats, gaining access to the NHS is usually as simple as registering with a local GP once you have a permanent address. Daily life is shaped by Scotland's proud traditions, friendly neighbors, local sports, and a deep respect for nature. Whether you settle in a lively city or a quiet coastal village, Scotland offers a blend of opportunity, safety, and storied charm that makes it one of Europe's most appealing destinations for expats and adventurers alike. Thank you for joining me on this journey through Scotland's most fascinating secrets and stories. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a like, and don't forget to subscribe for more unique travel documentaries. I'd love to hear your thoughts, corrections, or personal experiences in the comments. Every message gets a reply. If you spotted a fact that surprised you most, mention its number below and let's get a conversation going. And as always, your feedback and ideas help make these videos even better, so keep them coming.